welcome to the Afia Morning Show this beautiful Wednesday. Of course, it's Tuesday morning. And of course, my name is Nathalie Uku, and this is going to be a packed show. As always, we do begin with the news update with Oji, followed by a weather and travel update to help you plan your day better. And right after that, the newspaper review. And for our reports today, we do have one on the Enugu spare parts market dealers who are appealing for a downward review of prices and a revised payment structure for shops at the new permanent site. Away from there, we move on to another reply from the zonal director of NAFDAC as he reacts to accusations of looting of a boutique by officials in Anambra. For our discussions, Dr. Law Mefo will join us to discuss the governor's achievements, the challenges faced, and goals for the last year of his first tenure. What's next for Anambra? All this and more coming your way on today's show this Tuesday morning. My name is Nathalie Uku, and this is saying welcome to the show. Up next, the updates with Oji Wachuku. Do stay.
Top of the morning to you, and on the news updates this morning. We begin the news update in Abia, where the state governor, Dr. Alex Oti, has signed the Abia State Electricity Bill into law, setting the stage for a new era of energy regulation, investment protection, and power expansion in the state. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has hosted members of the House of Representatives to an iftar dinner at the State House, Abuja. In other news, the Vice President of Nigeria, Vice President Kashim Shettima, has underscored the importance of tapping into Nigeria's vast ocean resources to unlock new opportunities for economic prosperity. On the continent, Rwanda-backed M23 rebels have disclosed that they had withdrawn from planned peace talks aimed at resolving a spiraling conflict in the Democratic Republic of Congo after the EU imposed sanctions on its leader and on Rwanda army commanders. Finally, in the breezy world of sports, Lionel Messi will not be part of the Argentina squad for their 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Brazil and Uruguay this month. And that's all we have for your news update. Stay for more right here on the Afia Morning Show. I am Oji Wachuku. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Welcome back to the Afia Morning Show, and thank you for staying with us. Of course, my name is Nathalie Uku, and I'm not here by myself. Oji Wachuku is seated and ready for a packed edition, I suppose.
Happy Tuesday.
I'm just say it's an element of doubt. Happy Tuesday to you. Happy Tuesday. How has your week been? Let me speak like you. How has your week been thus far?
Thus far,
How has it been?
It's been Monday and Tuesday. So thus far.
Nothing to say. It's a Tuesday every day in Nigeria. Of course, we're also here with Barrister Chidi Ujo-Atumba, human rights lawyer, and CEO Ujo-Atumba and Company. Barrister Chidi, good morning and welcome to the show.
And thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Thank
welcome.
you for coming in.
Yeah.
And you all have to witness the way Barrister Chidi rushes into this. If you think he's very energetic on set, just imagine how he's always holding on to his blazer.
He storms.
One day we'll set a camera just for you, showing you rush into the studio when it's time for the paper review. We're going to do that. We're going to surprise you.
Okay.
Let's begin our analysis this morning with the Daily Independent. Naira stability, lower petrol price, cool inflation to 23.18% in February. Rivers crisis, tension as Assembly moves to impeach Governor Fubara, deputy. El Rufai blinded by ego, driven by untamed emotion, says APC. Beneficiaries of subsidies ganged up against Tinubu, says Bamidele. On Nigerian Tribune, Rivers Assembly lists 19 sins of Fubara, accuses him, deputy of gross misconduct, moves for their impeachment. Fubara says lawmakers frustrating his efforts to implement Supreme Court judgments. What Constitution says about removing a governor. FCT minister, on his part, revokes 4,794 land titles over non-payment of ground rent for over 40 years. And straight to the Nation, Assembly lists Fubara's 19 sins. Riders here, lawmakers ask governor, deputy to defend gross misconduct allegations. No letter received by government. Another one here, Dangote to build Olokola Seaport, Itori Cement Plant. El Rufai stands diminished with his actions, says APC. And straight to the Punch, impeachment move, tension in Rivers as Assembly serves Fubara misconduct notice. Anti-Tinubu coalition, APC others attack El Rufai Atiku as plot thickens. Copper, who criticized Tinubu under pressure to apologize, according to activists. And lastly here, 4 feared killed in Ogun, cult clashes.
And moving over to Daily Trust, El Rufai accuses Obasani of siphoning LG funds to UK, South Africa, says no, LG receives 50 million naira per month, and provide evidence. Shehu Sani challenges as governor. Rivers Assembly notice of misconduct not addressed to Fubara attributed to the government, and Sowore lawyers accompany core member summoned for criticizing Tinubu. And lastly, motorists pass night at CNG stations over inadequate dispensing points. Experts urge expansion of filling centers, and government has no input in it, says the presidential committee. Moving over to the Guardian. Eyes on Rivers CJ as impeachment plot thickens against Fubara deputy. This associates from El Rufai's deceptive politics. Southern Alliance warns Obi Atiku threat to arrest Natasha. Anti-democratic CUPP warns. And lastly, right here, Dangote to construct Itori cement plant, build Olokola port. Moving over to Blueprint. RVSG raises the alarm as impeachment stares Fubara deputy in the face. House lists 18 points offenses against Duo. And our future gloomy, says Commissioner. Dangote to build 6 MTA cement plant in Itori, largest seaport in Ogun. Nigeria's inflation dropped to 23.18%. Debt service declines to $276 million. And moving over to the last one right here, Vanguard. Rivers crisis. Assembly serves Governor Fubara deputy notice of misconduct. We haven't received notice, says the state government. Says states facing gloomy period. Adds lawmakers' actions could cause severe collateral damage. Plus to oust governor early July get boost. 4 emerging scenarios. Wike's house not attacked, burnt, says police. Lawyers insist on due process. Process for impeaching a governor. And party primaries. NAS Mo's amending 2022 Electoral Act. Ex-Governor El-Rufai traumatized after losing the ministerial slot, says APC. Beneficiaries of fuel subsidy ganged up against Tinubu's government at inception, says Senate leader. And lastly, Dangote mushroom baker over demolition of cement factory in Ogun.
All right, Barrister Chidi, I think we'll quickly start with the boldest headline on the Punch, which is as punchy as it gets. Impeachment move. And I like how they're giving the news beyond the news, because you see this gross misconduct notice has been served. But the bigger picture is, it is obviously some kind of move towards impeachment. So that was a great way to capture it. Tension in Rivers as Assembly serves Fubara misconduct notice. And the other papers listed as the 19 sins of Fubara. But of course, they have the umbrella bodies of the gross misconduct, one of which is reckless and unconstitutional expenditure of public funds contrary to sections 120 and 121, subsection 12 and 122 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. Another one, in summary, abridged, is hindering or obstructing the Rivers State House of Assembly, which is another arm of government protected by the Constitution. Appointment of persons to occupy offices, positions in the Rivers State government without allowing for the requirement of screening and confirmation as prescribed by the Constitution. Seizure of salaries, allowances, as well as funds standing to the credit of the legitimate Rivers State House of Assembly. A seizure of the salary of the clerk of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Mr. Emeka Amadi. The lawmakers are alleging that the state governor, of course, fears impeachment, which is one of the reasons that he is doing all of this. And they're standing on the mandate of the legislature to check the actions of the executive arm. What do you make of this significant, of all significant developments in Rivers State?
This move is dead on arrival. Yeah, it's dead on arrival. Because you see, the cause that led to the action of their salary being withheld, of all those things they are complaining about, it was as a result of them going to Federal Court of Appeal, swearing an affidavit that they are no more members of PDP, that have defected to what? APC. Yeah. Let me tell you something. There's another case that is lying in the Court of Appeal, okay? It will eventually get to Supreme Court. The Supreme Court verdict is a kind of a directive verdict, okay, for the governor to do the rightful thing. It's not a vindictive verdict, you understand? You cannot investigate and hold a governor who is sitting culpable. Meanwhile, you started attacking him from the very first day he was sworn into office. What are you talking about? All the things they are complaining about, there are actions that culminated as a result of their own action also, because they defected and wanted to impeach the governor earlier on, which led to the destruction and the demolition of the former State House of Assembly. So I am of the opinion that when this matter gets to the Supreme Court, let them not support anybody, let them not be bought over, let them attend to the case by merit, and let them give every law its legal interpretation. In such a way that our judicial system can grow. We cannot keep on getting judgment because we belong to any one political party that is in power or what. Let the judiciary, let this impeachment saga will definitely hit a brick wall. It will not succeed at the end of the day. Where is the chief judge who will sign the whole thing at the end of the day? Go and look at the 19 sins they are complaining about. There are things that resulted as their own action of defecting, which is still a subject in the Court of Appeal as we speak. I was of the opinion that these members of the House, based on the Supreme Court verdict, would have come back, whether the governor approached them properly or improperly. They are all members of a particular state, I thought they would have come back, drop their, arms down and see how they can work with the state government, implement the Supreme Court judgment, and move the state forward. But being pushed like this, someone might even suspect whether the big hand of the federal government is involved in it. But, no one can tell. Because I never thought that they would go further to pinpoint all those things and use it as what? As points to impeach the governor. But it's dead on arrival. Yeah. It will never get them anywhere.
Why waste time? Waste your time, waste the people's time, waste the government's time, knowing that at the end of the day, it's going to hit a brick wall. Who is transcribing the Supreme Court verdicts for these men?
I don't know. Everything is clear. It's written out. The CTC, the governor moved ahead and he wanted to do some things without having a copy of the certificate copy of that judgment. But when he got a certificate copy of that judgment, he saw that actually he has kind of stepped out to do certain things, which, okay, let's do it maybe because it was said by Supreme Court. Let me take you back a little bit further. The Supreme Court has no jurisdiction in local government election. Go and check the laws. The Supreme Court has no jurisdiction in local government election. The Supreme Court, in any verdict that affects the local government election, can make statements by the side, but it's not within their jurisdiction. It's not even within the jurisdiction of the Court of Appeal. All those things are written down. But it came and he embraced it and he wants to implement it. And you cannot still hold him on that and say you are trying to impeach him. I don't know how this will work at the end of the day. And, even if you impeach him, he will not leave the office. He will go to court and challenge that impeachment and probably drag it up to Supreme Court again. So let's look at this scenario. Rivers State might be in the court for the remaining 3 years. Nothing may be done in Rivers State. The way these 27 members of the House are moving, they don't want anything to be done, and nothing will be done because no budget will pass. They've refused the governor from entering into the complex to present the budget all over again to them, as the Supreme Court rightfully directed. So what do you expect this man to do? What will he do? I can't present the budget for you. I can't get further ratification from you. And I can't even stay on my own. You are threatening to impeach me and the deputy governor. And you're also threatening to investigate and remove the CJ. I have never seen this kind of political war in my history of being a lawyer and being a student of political science. I've never seen this kind of political war. When some section of members of the House can wage an entire war against a democratically elected governor of a state.
I mean, you're saying
this is not, Natalie, this is not just against Fubara or the deputy governor or the chief judge. This is against the indigenous of what? Rivers State. This is a war against every indigenous. A legal comparative analysis. But the issue here is that a Supreme Court judge can give a verdict in Abuja, but he will not enter his SUV and could go down to Rivers State and implement how that judgment and dictate how that judgment will be implemented.
Yeah.
It is those that the judgment are bound on will say this is how it will be implemented. And in the course of implementing this judgment, recourse should be made to the fact that if you make any mistake, there's also an ample opportunity for the party who felt aggrieved to also take the whole thing back to Supreme Court, either for judicial review or for an entirely new case that has nothing to do with the one that had been, looked on.
All right. While matters, of course, escalate in Rivers, I would like us to also look at another headline, which is very topical. This is on the Punch. Copper who criticized Tinubu under pressure to apologize. Now, Shore followed the copper to meet her local government inspector yesterday. I believe we have that video there. The activists...
With some attorneys here.
Yes, with some attorneys as well, suited up and ready for business. I mean, I imagine the local government inspector was around to meet that, because according to Shore, they actually absconded when they saw he had arrived with the lawyers. So I wouldn't know if he absconded or went for a tea break. But according to the post by Shore, they absconded at the site. So they wanted to meet with the copper, Rita, and she came backed up by Shore. And then you can see the video right there, heading into the local government office for that meeting. So I don't think they imagined that the youths of today would actually get to this point where they would not take stifling for an answer. They would not take any of those things for an answer.
That's trending online right now, 30 days challenge of venting. Like every other day, I think the one was yesterday, today's day 2. People just take their phones and talk about the ills of the society, and they're calling out the government and all that. So I don't know how they can hold on for 30 days, doing this challenge. But continue with your thoughts.
The fact is that this is now, she has turned into a symbol of the mouths of the people. That's what many people are saying, right? They're saying that she spoke the truth of many Nigerians. But just for people that probably missed that video, let's just take a moment to watch that moment that Showore escorted Rita to meet her local government inspector. According to him, the inspector absconded before they could even arrive. Maybe he got intel or went for a tea break. Let's take a look at that video quickly.
Great to see you too.
Good morning.
My sister, morning. How are you? I think you will drive. Okay, sir. How far is it from here? Let's try it now. Were you able to reach them?
Yes, I sent you this.
I will in this direction. Great to see you. Well done. And I think the last time we saw was this. Yes. Well done. Yeah. Well done. So how do we move from here? Okay, go direct us. Okay, direct us now. But do you have like a map?
Right, Barrister Chidi, so what do you make of this scene? Can you put yourself in the shoes of the local government inspector?
Anyway, you see, one thing you really have to realize here is that there will always be at a point where people will be forced to open their mouth and speak up. And at that moment, it's like an idea which its time has come. And there's nothing you would definitely do about it. He might be trying to secure his job, he might be trying to dance to the gallery and protect his employees and employers and all the rest of them. But you find out that these truths of the girl's statement, what she said carries a lot of weight, and it represents the mind of millions of Nigerians.
It pains.
It pains. These things are palpable. You can feel them. You can't describe them or fling them away with one quote in the newspaper or on a press conference. Nigerians, this is a direct representation of what Nigerians are going through. It's too bad that all machineries and instruments that we can use to checkmate the government, to push back on them, to make them feel our pain, that all of them have been crippled, either decimated or probably, disempowered to represent the opinion of the people. There's one, it's a vox populi, vox dei, okay? That the voice of the people is the voice of God. If our leaders can listen to us, instead of stifling and trying to suppress every dissenting opinion that comes by when people comes out to express themselves, if they can listen to their subjects and listen to those who voted them into power, I believe that they will go a long way to meet the yearning demands of the masses. Yeah.
Okay, there was one striking statement yesterday by one Temitope, I believe, that said that she deserves to be, was it executed for that kind of statement? Right? That she should be given the utmost, the highest punishment for that statement. I'll find the exact word, the exact statement of that, but I'm sure you saw it, Barrister Chidi. Did you see that?
I didn't see that comment.
There must be diverse views when, so when it comes to the online public opinion, court of opinion, right? There are always diverse views from left to right. You see people counter even the right things and saying things you're saying, right? Because apparently we know what happens online. Some people are stooges, are paid for to PR. So it could actually come from that perspective. It could actually also come from people supporting, who are passionate about the government and all that stuff. Benefiting from this government and all that.
Are using every single opportunity to do sycophancy for this government, for them to be seen,
noticed, for them
to be noticed, for them to be seen as those who are in a good light. Okay, we're not criticizing him, we're expecting something from him. If you criticize him now, someone can bring it up and use it against you tomorrow. If he doesn't bless me now, he could probably bless me during his second term. You understand? Some people, even if this country is burning, it's none of their concern. Their only concern is that strand of Indomie they can bring and eat at the end of their belly. That's their only care.
Oftentimes, it's not even them directly, you know, benefiting from these guys. Maybe an uncle or relation.
Relatives, yeah.
So this statement was actually according to an aide, and he has actually come out to debunk it. He is saying that he meant he should be given the capital punishment under NYSC. Okay. But people who misrepresented it said that he was asking for capital punishment, which you know in Nigeria, of course, is exactly.
Have you seen probably what the person originally said was amplified beyond the meaning?
But that is why before you come out and say something, you need to check.
Let me tell you the truth right now. The person erred. Probably let's look at it from this vantage. Maybe made that statement and he got or she got attacked, you know, with verbally or
he got attacked,
and all that. So then apparently just trying to find a way to retract and say whatever.
But the record was actually a Facebook post, so anybody could have actually gone to check. I think it was just taken out of context.
Yes,
it could be, you know.
In my own opinion, there's nothing wrong with the girl apologizing. Okay, that's not the point. Has been made.
Yeah, she has actually pushed the narrative. Yeah,
the point, she has just let off that, you know, beef. That point has been made.
But I have to ask you this question now. Does Lagos smell?
Huh?
Does Lagos smell?
Big time! Come on, I've been there. Every nook and cranny. Look, everyone in Lagos should be wearing a mask. You understand? Lagos smells. Am I the only one who's saying it? Come on, I've been there. Okay, like Port Harcourt, because of the gas and everything that is being given up. Sometimes when you breathe and you put your nose hand in your mouth, you see that you are not breathing the actual real air or something. I mean, these are environmental pollution that we should look into. Lagos needs to be totally drained. That place smells like hell. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Okay, but then we also got some kind of pushback on that statement, saying that I think it was coming from the government quarters, that it is the people who are responsible for making Lagos untidy, and that if the government starts to impose, I'll find out who exactly said it, if it starts to impose measures to, you know, sanction people that, that people will be seen as hard, as the government being hard on the people. But are the people themselves, that this lady is complaining that she's seen in her videos and on social media to be enjoying Lagos life, nightlife and the rest, and of course
enjoying nightlife doesn't mean that
but then
the environment
they are holding the people responsible for not obeying directives and not keeping Lagos clean.
No,
that is it. I'll get the exact statement.
Natalie, you and I know that this statement is a cover-up statement. The Lagos government is known for their taxation. They are known for implementation of local laws, their roads, and if you dare break any traffic law in Lagos, you know how far that they can go to catch you and make sure that they penalize you at the end of the day. So they're not really saying, they're not really being honest with this, because they know that they have not really gone down to solve the problem. It's a problem of drainage, okay? All the canals and everything. It's a problem of drainage. It's drainage wahala. If they take care of that drainage, you find out that the whole smell and everything will stop. So I don't think it's something that you have to blame on the people who are living in Lagos. What more could they do? What more could they do? What could Lagosians do when it comes to the kind of foul smell that comes out from that environment? No, what could they do?
Yes.
You've not empowered them to do anything. I know that there are certain environmental regulations that neighborhoods are supposed to maintain, okay?
All right.
But when they don't maintain it, who should hold them accountable at the end of the day?
So this statement is actually coming from the director, rightly, the Lagos State Government, the Director, Public Affairs of the Lagos State Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources, Kunle Adeshina. He's saying that they can always say whatever they want to say, but what they fail to realize is that it is the same people who come into Lagos in droves and thousands on a daily basis that make a mess of all the steps that the state government is always putting in place. Yes, they are the ones. When we say there should be no street trading, they are the same ones who carry backpack on their back, who come into Lagos with no family, no kind of lineage or where to put their head at night and sleep. They are the ones selling at the bus stops or even in the traffic. They are the ones messing up the roads with open defecation. They are the ones who engage in it. And at the same time, they turn around to accuse the government of not doing what is right.
I don't like this kind of complaint. I mean, you cannot have an environment that encourages business. Everyone knows that population is power, okay? The businesses, everything. Look, Lagos is as good and as important as the number of people that are there. People are even saying that more people should go there. If Enugu will kind of accommodate the number of people that Lagos is accommodated, we'll be as rich or even richer than them. You understand? So we cannot look at this great opportunity of people going. What are you talking about? Oh, come on. There was a time Lagos was the capital of Nigeria. Everybody wants to live in Lagos. Everybody wants to go to Lagos. Okay? Because of the factor that Lagos offers you a whole lot of things that other states in Nigeria cannot offer you. We say that the West is the Western Nigeria is close to the West. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If any innovation comes, if any new thing comes, it will first of all be domesticated in Lagos. Before Lagos is not, it's just like a pilot of the whole state. So what are you talking about? Will you close the borders of Lagos? You cannot do that. We have to be innovative. We have to look at this problem and face it squarely and bring environmental specialists to drain Lagos, drain all the canals. You remember the time when a bomb eventually went off in one barracks in Lagos, how the canal swallowed a whole lot of people, and we recorded a whole lot of casualties. They don't drain all those places. They come on, put something like a stick on it for people to pass by. Lagos should be drained, and Lagos should be well kept. You understand? It's a big project. If you can drain Bayelsa and drain all those riverine areas, you can also drain Lagos and bring good people who are specialists in environmental, preservation to put things in place, and you can see Lagos blossom, and more people can equally come into Lagos. I don't know what they're talking about.
Thank you so much. I don't know what they're talking about. Many people don't know what they're talking about. Barrister Chidi, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I mean, we're already out of time. We do have a long way to go on the show.
Yes.
I wish you could go longer, but
all right.
Let's also create room for other important guests who are joining us today. Thank you, Barrister Chidi.
All right, thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure having you.
Always a pleasure.
Right after this break, we'll be joined by the Honorable Commissioner for Information, Anambra State, Dr. Lome For, to tell us about the journey so far as Governor Chukwumacha Soludo of Anambra State marks 3 years in office. Do stay.
My name is Ubon Kings.
I am Marvelous Afamaga.
I am Chioma Bakbala.
My name is Ifulaya Ndule, but I'm living in a market speaking.
What are your thoughts on the spate of sex for grades in Nigerian universities?
This very issue of owing salary should be criminalized.
How can they amplify their voices?
People don't have evidence.
Want to get to know about it? Have to stay tuned right here on Afia Morning Show to get the pulse and the feel of that.
Hey ladies, join us on Gyno Plus every Wednesday at 6 p.m. right here on Afia TV, DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17, where we will delve into health issues affecting girls and women in society.
Breastfeeding doesn't even cause breastfeeding. The frequency of breastfeeding determines the approach you take to make sure that your well-being is maintained.
Welcome to the latest and most amazing show on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break.
You don't sing along.
I did single. For real.
You're not a backup singer.
That's what they do that.
It's a brand new
Another week and another opportunity for us to gist and need to tell you, bring all the spice, all the things that are hot, trending, and exclusive on social media. Sometimes I know there's constructive criticism. I know that you know how to quote it. So for the people that don't understand, I want to be like, oh, why are you doing this?
Please, I'm not a cross-dresser. I'm only doing this because of the money on Facebook.
There are some people you need to just tell the truth brutally. Let it hurt them. Give it hot.
Afia TV official, exclusive every weekday on Afia TV.
Welcome back to the program, and thank you for staying with us. You're still watching the Afia Morning Show, and while we try to connect to Dr. Law Mefo, we're having some issues reaching him, but we'll take this quick report from Umuahia, Abia State, where the governor of Abia State has signed into law the Abia State Electricity Bill. This was announced by the State's Commissioner for Information, Mr. Oke Kano, after the State Executive Council meeting on Monday. Emmanuel Wazwe, Afia TV's Deputy Chief Correspondent, was at the briefing which took place at Government House in Umuahia. He now reports.
With the signing of the Abia State Electricity Bill into law by Governor Alex Otti, the state is now empowered to regulate its own electricity market. Buttressing this point, the Commissioner for Information, Mr. Oke Kano, says the law is intended for local competition and investment.
This new law is intended to encourage local participation and investment in the electricity market. It is designed to attract investors in the power sector. As such, in the coming months, the state will establish their electricity regulatory authority, the body that will be charged with the regulation of the state's electricity market.
Consequently, the state would in the coming months establish what it calls Abia State Electricity Regulatory Authority, ASERA, to drive the law. But beyond that, the government has more up its sleeves.
Discussions, of course, have reached an advanced stage with the EEDC, where the state government hopes to buy up to 60% stake in the company. That will enable the state to ring-fence the remaining 8 LGAs of the state. That's in Abia Central and Abia North. Upon the consummation of the MOU, the state will be in a position to not only supply power to the 8 ring-fenced LGAs, but it will also be in a position to wheel power to other southeast states.
Away from power generation, the state says it has discovered over 55 unique heritage sites, which it is working to develop into tourist attractions.
Notable amongst the sites are the Chuku Cave in Alai, Bede local government, the Igbo Waterfall in Chuku, Mazi Okoroji's compound in Chuku, the Ntubu or local magistrate called the Ikuano, where the participants in the famous Aba Women Riot of 1929 were tried. These sites in due course will be reactivated and preserved for their historical significance and tourism potential.
Elaborating on these, the Commissioner for Arts, Culture and Tourism, Hope Ekuribe, says Abia will be better off for it if these sites were harnessed.
If all these potentials are harnessed, Abia State will be a very viable place to visit. And what we have in the area of tourism is so enormous that the whole world will want to visit Abia State to see what we have for themselves. We also have Asumiri Blue River, which is a very unique river that is not found everywhere. We also have the Akwete Beach, and there's so many other beautiful things. So both the Ojukwu Bunker and the National War Museum will be given a special attention under the government of Dr. Alex Otti.
Also, the Ojukwu Bunker and the National War Museum, all in Umuahia, are set to be revamped by the state government in collaboration with the federal government. Meanwhile, according to the Commissioner for Information, about 7 roads completed under the state's direct labor project are set for commissioning soon. From the State House in Umuahia, Emmanuel Mwazue reporting.
Thank you for that report, Emmanuel. I mean, good looking out once again to the Abia State government and doing such a great job in the state. I hope to see improvements, power supply, of course, across the southeast. But we're seeing Enugu and Abia take the lead in that development. What do you think about this report?
Well, it's a great feat, and also is a great congratulations to Abians. They got it right this time around, and definitely, as I always say, when governance is easy when you put the right people in power, right? So everybody's actually enjoying the dividends of democracy now in Abia State in regards to what Governor Alex Otti has been implementing. And it's a great feat that he has signed this bill into law, and let's see how far, thus far, it's going to go.
All right, and moving on now to Anambra State, Oka, the state capital in particular. We do recall that yesterday the Abia State government marked 3 years since assumption of office. A lot of controversies around it. I mean, on social media, we saw the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs share a video where she was showing the last moment of the last administration concerning the, should I call it, the exchange between she and the former First Lady of the state. So that was what made lots of people on social media very interested. But right here on mainstream media, we were following up the story of the achievements, challenges, and all of that concerning the state government marking 3 years. The entering, let's say entering its last year of its first tenure. Of course, a media chat was held by the state governor yesterday, and on Sunday, a Thanksgiving service was also attended by the state government, all to commemorate this third anniversary. We're joined now from Oka by the Honorable Commissioner for Information in the state, Dr. Lome, to tell us about the achievements, challenges, what's on ground, and what is to come in Anambra State for the next let's hope couple of years for supporters of the state government currently. Dr. Law, good morning and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting me, and thank you for also recognizing that it has to be a couple of years.
I was going to say for the next 12 months, and I just said, let me say a couple of years. We are all right, to be fair. So how are you feeling today? I mean, 3 years. I think it's beyond being a toddler anymore. You're getting to that point where you're becoming a little more independent. Just speaking in, let's try to humanize the state development. But let's hear from you now. How far would you say that the Anambra State government has come 3 years into office?
I think, to be modest, let me say, so far, so beautiful. Anambra never had it this good. The achievements really cover every segment of the Anambra social and economic life, and you can see it everywhere. Something has really happened, and it happens when you have very intentional and transformational leadership. Such as Professor Chukwuma Soludo has offered in the last 3 years. And to be honest, I was trying to analyze the achievements, and I counted well over 200 very solid, sterling achievements of Professor Soludo in the last 3 years. And in other words, if you really want to highlight, you can just struggle to be able to pick out the ones you consider more essential than the rest. And of course, he erected his government on the 5 pillars. And the very first pillar is security, law and order. trying to reposition the state, because you cannot talk of a decent, thriving society if you do not really get the law and order and security right. And the most recent launching of Operation Udogachi, which I once told you is a hybrid operational strike force of the 6 lead security agencies in the state, starting with our own Agune chamber, the police, the army, the air force, civil defense, and the DSS. They operate together now in that operation that is called Operation Udogachi. They have done so well. And of course, our own vigilante, it used to be called a vigilante, Anambra Vigilante Service, but it's no longer that now. The new law, which of course has provided the operational framework for the security operations and interventions in the state, the one we call Anambra State Security Law 2025, that was signed into force by the governor on the 18th of January 2025. That is where the name changed from Anambra Vigilante Group to Agune Chamber. They joined forces with the leading security agencies to give the state maximum security. And in the last 2 months that they have been operating, things have drastically and dramatically changed. Anambra is becoming quiet again, inching towards reclaiming its lost status as the safest state in Nigeria. We will get there in no time, and then we believe that it's a matter of 1, 2, 3 months, let's say before the end of this year, Anambra must have been totally reclaimed. And that's in the aspect of security. If you come to infrastructure, it has been phenomenal. Infrastructure, phenomenal. In fact, today we are going to Oboko, because Oboko was where Governor Soludo started work when he was sworn in March 17th, 2022. He started work the following day, that was 18th, in Oboko. Oboko is perhaps
All right, Dr. Law, are you still with us?
And, yes, Oboko, I'm talking about Oboko. Oboko was where Soludo started work on the 18th of March 2020.
I think Dr. Mefo is having some. All right, go ahead. I think you're having
so that time was the largest urban slum. The largest urban slum. The largest urban slum. But today, Oboko is now a haven, a complete haven. That means we're going to Oboko. We are returning to Oboko today to commission some groundbreaking projects like General Hospital, like pipe on water, like so many roads everywhere. Oboko has dramatically changed. So it's a celebration of slum to have a very beautiful celebration. We are returning to Oboko to celebrate that. And Oboko becomes a signature pathway, a signature project of what you may call urban regeneration. And the entire Onitsha, is generally regenerated. And so you can see the impact. Then, of course, another place that marks out Soludo's leadership as a very iconic is the flyover that you have in a place called Ekulobia. Ekulobia was also a slum, but now dramatically transformed also. So Ekulobia is part of the regeneration, urban regeneration. And we have 3 dual carriageways coming up now, and one from Amobia to Uga, passing through that same Ekulobia flyover up to the boundary between Anambra State and the Imo State. You have another dual carriageway coming from the place you call Nwagu Agolo through Nnobi to Nnewi, and again another one coming through the back through Ekusigo, Ozubulu, and connecting again our boundary to our boundary with Imo State. You know, on the whole, roads alone, in under 3 years, Soludo has awarded 776 kilometers, and as we speak, 462 kilometers of these roads have been asphalted and in use. Many of them will be commissioned in days to come. Within this week, it has to be all commissioning. And Afia TV, you need to join us in this exercise.
I mean, we're hoping to join you, but we understand that you have to be somewhere in just a few minutes, and we have to ask you this question. I mean, we'll definitely have a more extensive interview, but just to ask this, there are some people who do not feel in tune or do not support what, you know, the achievements you've listed right now. Some people that feel like, with regard to the roads, that the roads could be wider. They are saying that the roads are not wide enough. Generally, they don't think that the state government has done enough to make them feel that, you know, it's 100%, 10 over 10, it's okay. So people that do not feel content with what the state government has done, that think that the state government can still do more, that talk about the different infrastructural projects and what could be done better, basically those that do not support all that's happened, what do you have to say to them at this point in time?
Yeah. Well, you and I know that when you don't have what to tell a child, you say you look like your mother or like your father. Who do you expect the child to resemble, if not the mother or the father? You know, that's the way I see such a complaint. I know that some roads are as wide as, you know, the dual carriageway that enters the government house is 8 lanes. And I don't know how wide some of those critics would want such roads to be. And yes, it could be wider, but they are wide enough. If you have traveled to UK, I'm sure you see their roads, and Anambra roads are wider than the roads you find in the United Kingdom, in Britain, in England. If you take note, you will understand what I am talking about. So those who are saying that our roads are not wide enough, I don't know what to tell them, except that they are you know, driving on a nylon tar, you know, asphalt today, and they expected it to be as wide as what those should reach out to us and give us the prescription, and we will see if that is different from the roads you find in places like Lagos. You know, so our roads are very wide, and to make them even wider, that is the idea of dual carriageways, three dual carriageways. Nearing completion in Anambra. So those who say that the roads are not wide enough, are they saying dual carriageways are not wide enough? And none of the dual carriageways is less than 4 lanes. You know, so we cannot get wider. We are building to last. The roads Soludo is building, they are not in any way narrow or more narrow than the roads built by his predecessors, even the roads built by Ngige. So this is a new one to me. More roads will be awarded as we speak. I believe in the next 1 year, Soludo must have crossed 1,000 kilometers of roads.
All right.
And upon his second return, which is inevitable, because last night he gave conditions for his return, that even the Anambra, you know, wanting to continue, he would certainly, you know, listen to them. And the clamor is deafening. The Anambra wants Soludo to continue. The Soludo solution, that intentional transformational leadership, Anambra people crave for it. And I have looked at the landscape. I can't see any viable alternative to Soludo as of now. You know, without at the risk of sounding immodest, I don't say it, to be honest with you. The opposition parties are in disarray. And there is no viable candidate that Soludo hasn't beaten even his word.
All right.
In the last election.
Dr. Law, we have just two more questions for you, Dr. Law. But we have to go on a quick news break now. Dr. Mefo, can you hear me? Yes, just hang on. We're going on a quick news break now. When we return, we'll have just one or two questions left, and then we'll round this up so you can get on with your appointments. The program returns in just seconds. Please stay with us. You're welcome back to the Afia Morning Show. Thank you for staying with us. We're still joined by Dr. Law Mefo, the Honorable Commissioner for Information, Anambra State, all the way from Oka, the state capital, this morning. Now, Oji does have a question, so Oji, I'll let you lead with that. Okay,
Dr. Mefo, so what would you say to, yes, I heard you, Soludo's been doing great, right? People are applauding him for a comeback after the November exercise. But there are so many disgruntled Anambarians in the Anambra that feel they are disappointed in his government. Why? Because he made so many promises, the Taiwan, the China, and he's not living up to that expectation, regarding the solution agenda, right? So what would you say to these people, and also to get them fall in line regarding the elections coming in November?
Yeah, Soludo's vision is to transform Anambra into African Dubai, Taiwan, Silicon Valley. That's the vision. And of course, if you understand how Dubai was transformed, it wasn't done even in 20 years. So the first thing you do is to lay the foundation and then begin to build. And subsequently, the Dubai, Taiwan, Silicon Valley will emerge. And Soludo has done fantastically well in that direction. And I will explain in a moment, in less than a moment. There is where we call Onitsha 2.0. That is a brand new Onitsha coming up. And the master plan is ready, and the construction will commence any moment from now. That is one big step in the year and years.
All right, Dr. Law, I think we've lost you again. All right, go ahead.
And why do we want a brand new Onitsha? Onitsha, the way it is, a place that will be better planned and so on and so forth, as a commercial and logistic hub. That is what Dubai has become. We are doing that. You have another brand new city that is coming up. The master plan is ready. The basic amenities required to make the place work being awarded already, and work has commenced in some aspects. We call it Anambra Mixed Industrial City. It's somewhere bordering on nature as well. And it's going to be our industrial park. It's coming up, and they are in Oka. We are planning a new city, Oka 2.0. All these will combine to yield up what you call Dubai, Taiwan. You know, Taiwan, for example, is a place with very little resources, like natural resources like Anambra. But they were able to become a powerhouse in the world. And when we talk about Silicon Valley, we have paid serious attention to the issue of tech and innovation. Soludo believes that the future of Anambra is tech. We have what we call the Solution Innovation District, SEED. They have trained well over 30,000 in the Anambra or Anambra residents willing to participate in tech, in digital skills, and scalable skills, scalable and marketable. They are useful in Anambra and exportable abroad. That is what we mean by the Silicon Valley of Africa. That Anambra is beginning to emerge as. And those who are saying that Soludo promised Africa, Dubai, Taiwan, and he hasn't done so, are ignorant. They are simply ignorant or mischievous. They should Google, just do a simple Google. How long did it take a man like Sheikh Ibn Mohammed to build Dubai? They should go and check. They will now understand that 8 years of Soludo's administration will not fully establish Africa, Dubai, Taiwan. He will lay the foundation and begin to build some aspects, and subsequent governments will be able to do the rest.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Law. I mean, we're out of time. This conversation will continue. So many questions, but unfortunately, so little time. Thank you once again, Dr. Law. It was a pleasure, real pleasure having you on the show today.
Thank you for hosting me. Thank you. Let's do it again.
Awesome.
Awesome. Definitely we'll do that. All right. Thank you once again for joining. It was a huge pleasure having you. Now, while we, of course, get ready for our next conversation today, I would like us to take this report from Nsukka, where the Okunerere Fire Ministry, a spiritual head, has come out and has admitted to a knowledge gap over the land that he actually constructed, the part of the church that was demolished, and not just that part, but the entire land itself. He has come out to speak on this issue that, of course, Afia TV's correspondent in Nsukka, Enugu State, has been following that controversial demolition that sparked a lot of outrage, incidentally. Do take a look.
Following last week's demolition, questions surrounding the legal basis for the action and the role of Princess Monica Otta have persisted. Today, we hear from Reverend Father Obayi Paul Martin, who sheds new light on the situation and calls for a peaceful resolution. In an exclusive interview, Father Obayi revealed that he was unaware of any other party's claim to the land on which the demolished section of the church stood.
It's a case of just a gap of knowledge, because I didn't know. Like, I've been following Buruburu for more than 5 years over this place, asking him to endorse it before he left the seat. So, unfortunately, it could not be done. Then when the new government came, I continued. Up until November 2024, I never knew anybody has interest here. That was when I knew that governor has nothing to do with this place. I asked him, so, sir, I'm not aware that you are here. And it is, if I knew, how could I be coming to you to ask you to sign this place? Shows my total ignorance of any interest in this land.
Father Obayi further revealed that the entire adoration ground is now under contention, not just the section that was demolished.
Is what was agreed before, that she's now the owner of the land. I'm not competing about that or doubting. You could be the owner of the land. I'm not with the paper here. That's what I've been processing more than 5 years. All of a sudden I heard it belongs to Bugu. All of a sudden again I heard it belongs to the woman. You know, when you change ownership, you should let contenders or interested members to know that is a change of ownership. This one I'm not aware. Changing from government to Bururu, changing from Bururu to the woman Monica. They were all not told to me. So the woman is fighting with a view that her land is taken, but they didn't know there is a process of at least. Father Paul, here is now belonging to me. Oh, fine. Why do I make trouble? I will just quietly pack and go. And we'll talk of other settlement. Not like a brutal, tyrant approach.
Despite the destruction and the ongoing dispute, Father Obayi emphasized the importance of peaceful dialogue.
So it's an extension which I started planning for years. And I built this fence. Nobody challenged me. I erected on this. Nobody asked me. I erected on this. Nobody. And anybody say, Father, stop. I would have stopped. Not when I finished building. You say stop. What am I stopping? I'm stopping nothing. I have finished building. So let us negotiate. So that's what I'm saying, that it's not a big deal. Had I been called or had they attended to me with notice, then we go and find out how does it work with notice. Why? But no quick notice. No, it was marked on 12 and knocked down on 13. That is what we are saying now. And she doesn't have the backing of the court. Policemen were deceived now. He told them he was going for inspection. That's what he wrote in his application. And they came to inspect. It turned into demolition. But the only blamable section is that the police would have reacted. Madam, this is not what we were sent for. We were sent to inspect, not to knock down. Are you getting me? So there is honorable, but not totally. We didn't tell him to, you have enough force to say, Madam, stop. Hey, greater man, stop. People were pointing at him that he's the one responsible, but he said he's not. If he says so, who are you to begin to question again? So, but we said he can intervene and put things in order.
While Father Obayi advocates for peaceful dialogue, the question of land ownership remains at the center of this controversy, and the community of worshippers is left waiting for a resolution. The path forward remains unclear, but Father Obayi's call for negotiation signals potential shift in the narrative. We will continue to follow this story closely and bring you updates as matters develop. In Nsukka, Elijah Akuma reporting for Afia TV.
I mean, clarity, clarity, clarity. This is one of the things I hope the Enugu Geographic Information System would actually solve, because the knowledge gap, you know, at the end of the day, the damage has now been done. Millions of naira have been lost.
And this is I think this is a big case of miscommunication, you know, because as both parties are communicating, rightfully, they will come to a resolution. If, okay, you say that this is your property, as is stated, then it could have, you know, served me rightfully and give me that information. Then I would leave. I'll pack my things and go. If you say here is your place and all that, not just come in with, as you said, whatever warrant to come and inspect or whatever. Then boom, you're knocking down the properties. I
mean, that is the thing. When there is proper knowledge, that would not even have to happen at all. And of course, you know, it's a religious institution, and that comes with its own share of controversy as well. You know, very sensitive matter indeed. But then it was not the whole church. It was a section. I believe that was the part that they were doing some water business, I think relating to a pure water business being done by the church. So it was not the adoration, the building itself. Let's also come back now to town, Enugu State, where motor spare parts dealers at Coal Camp Market in Enugu have expressed their gratitude to Governor Peter Mba for fulfilling their long-held dream of relocating to the new International Spare Parts and Allied Traders Park. During a visit by Afia TV to Coal Camp yesterday, the dealers further appealed for reduction in price and payment structure for acquiring shops at the new site, citing economic hardship. The president of the Enugu Motor Spare Parts Dealers Association, Coal Camp, Chief Michael Nome, explained that the initial price of 6 million naira for a single shop at the new site was discounted to 5.6 million naira to be paid over 6 months for spare parts dealers at Coal Camp, while the general cost for traders and dealers who do not operate at Coal Camp is 6 million naira. Despite the reduction, the dealers are still calling for further adjustments to make the cost more affordable and for an extended payment period of 12 months. Let's take a look at this report.
I'm very, very happy about it. This has been my dream for many years. Because Oge Sullivan, no. I be up to Sullivan, say, I can never try to 90 miles. From K. Sullivan, I bet on Keburuburu. But I'm more than happy that now my dream have come true. But the only problem I wear now is ego too much. You very nice development. Oh my ego. Even though in my hair since 6 months, I've about 100,000 the color. Man have been known on our go. You can see I have a hotel, Bello Belle, but on cable, you have like I am a memoir.
It's a very good idea, if I may say, because past government promised us that we will live here, but they couldn't make it, so we are still here. But the way I'm seeing our governor, Peter Mba, the man is doing well. As you can see, this place, this thinker, the population here, the thinker is too small to contain the people that inside it.
It's a welcome development. I cherish it and I love it. But the problem we are having, the issue is this. If you watch this environment, you know that we have many petty traders. In one shop, you can get about 2 or 3 persons in one shop. And the goods that is there is not up to 200,000, 300,000 naira. If they really want to help us, they will help us in a way that we're not going to suffer. At least let them give us the shop at the rate of 3 million. And then tell us the modality of paying the money. They can even tell us to, maybe we allocate one shop for you, the price is 3 million, then you will pay 500,000. Then they will give you the shop. They will give you 3 years or 4 years to pay the remaining money. So that if we can do it like that, we will thank him. We know that he's trying to help us.
Development for us to relocate from this place. But the major problem we're having is that because of the hardship, because of the economic situation in the country, I don't think the money is too high for us.
Your Excellency, Mba, maka mbọ nke ọ gbalụ wee fụ na ebupụrụ ahịa so obi dị ahịa oriri nne so anyị na-ekenesi ike mana nwaanyị ọkwa ya biko ya ka metụrụ anyị ebele na price anyị makwa na price agwala anyị so na o metụrụ anyị ebele ka price ahụ nwee ike ịgbadatatu ka o ruo ụmụ ogbenye aka.
It's a very good development. We really appreciate that because it is going to bring development part of the place. But the main thing that I'm saying now is just that you're talking on price based on we, the sellers who are inside co-camp, that it's not going to be easy for us to move there. But by God's grace, we are going to do so.
Not to go, I natural do opportunity. Now the opportunity I go. But no one yes here na azu. Na-eme ka na afia anyị bụ ndị afia arụ ya aka mgba biko anyị na-ayọ gọvanọ ka ọ mara ka ọ ga-esi meela anyị bụ ndị afia ihe gbasalụ price shop ahụ ọ bụ sef na ọ bụ ka a ga-esi wee kwubi obere so that ka ọ ịgbaji anyị aka.
I have no shop, so please I'm asking government to help me, please. Concerning the place that we are locating, please, the price of the market is very high. Is very high. Please let you people please reduce it. Very small so that we can afford it.
Oya ka na-akpọ development. Oya ka na-akpọ agam n'ilu maka na ịga n'ilu bụ ndụ. So ọ bụ na ị ga ebe ahụ ndị na-enwele ego ga-enwe ego, ndị na-enwele shop ga-enwe shop. Mana ebe anyị na-etinye aka bụ ya bekwuola anyị ego n'ego shop. Maka o nwere ndị enwere million so nọ n'ime ebe a mana ha ji ezinụlọ na-erikwa nri mana ọ bụdo na-ebute ya bụ ego shop onye na-enwere shop ga-enwe shop ọ bụrụ na onye ahụ enwezuru ego shop ha adịghị bụ kee shop a na-eme so gọọmenti Peter Mbada anyị mma ọ na-eme ọfụma otu o si mewe ọfụma anyị ga-akwadokwu ya.
And there you have it, sights and sounds of coal camp, of course, as at yesterday. And those are the reactions of the traders. They are very happy. They are thanking the state governor, but they are asking for something to be done about the price of the shops at the new site and the payment structure. They cannot pay over 6 months, according to them. They want to pay over an extended period of 12 months, citing, of course, the economic hardship, which has led to financial constraints for many of them. We're joined now in the studio by a trader, of course, at the Enugu Motor Spare Parts Coal Camp Market, Eze Chimuba. Mr. Chimuba, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you.
Yes, and it appears you came with an entire entourage because they are here to show their solidarity and support.
Well, it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. If you understand the trading, the business of coal camp, the way it works, you know, it's not basically about spare parts. There are artisans. There are a lot of people who do trading. So it's a chain. It's a chain of businesses, of small-scale traders, of maybe those who are, you know, big traders. The big men are there. The little guys are there. So it's a chain of a lot of people who are doing not only spare parts, not only motor spare parts. You know, there are those who are maybe artisan fabricators. You know, a lot of people who do a lot of things, a lot of construction work in that place. So all fingers are not equal. And most of the things they're saying is basically true. And we listened to our chairman yesterday, the central chairman, and I have a few challenges in some of the things, you know, he actually said. Because there had never been any meeting where there was an agreement, you know, where the traders has opined that probably that they want to pay under a 1 year, or probably they want to pay 4 million. Most of the letters that I think I've seen, that decision was purely decision taken by the executive. These traders that you saw yesterday never held any meeting with the leaders for the union to be able to say, okay, we can be able to pay this. Because the danger is this: if the idea, a fantastic idea which the governor has, is that the real traders should be able to own the shops. When they own the shops, it's going to increase productivity in terms of the money available for them to be able to trade. Because it doesn't make a lot of sense for them to use the whole money they have to be able to make money. But a typical investor is coming there to make profits. He may be able to buy up the shops and put it at exorbitant prices. So there may be no price regulation in terms of how much you should ask them to pay for each shop. Because they can decide to say, because there are people who inside that coal camp that went yesterday, they are paying as low as 3,000 naira per month. And there are 3 or 4 in one shops. A lot of them. So it's not as if basically that a lot of them have a lot of money to pay. Some are still owing for years in those places. So, and with the level of 25% inflation rate we have in the country, I think they're struggling to be in business. That's why we are appealing to the government for a downward review. Personally, I've always opined that the best thing, they can pay 25% of the money. And you can spread this payment for 5 years. They're still going to own the shops. The money is going to come to government. But government can be able to give a break, because they'll still pay taxes. They pay their taxes regularly. You know, the taxes of last year was paid by this thing. The one for this year will also be paid by these people. So I'm not satisfied with the way the executive has handled this matter with the government. I have no blame for the government, because these ideas is changing with the government. But I'm not satisfied the way the executive was able, not carrying, you know, the real traders who should be able to pay for this shop alone. Okay, now comes off to me as some kind of conflict. So it's great that you've said that this is an internal problem. You don't have an issue with the government. You have one with how the executive of the union has handled this matter. But it's a conflict for me as well, because the same president is also saying that the price needs to be reviewed. In fact, in a letter that we saw, I think he signed by him that was asking for a downward review. Are you aware of that? Yeah, I'm aware as well. So, but it seems to also be, you know, coming ahead for the fore with the views of the traders as well. So is there much of a difference between what you want and what he does? Yeah, I feel that if, in terms of the structure of the shops, the way you're going to do it, I have not seen the architectural design of how the shops is going to look like and what the cost is going to be like. So we're looking at the small shop they are talking about initially for 6 million, and they say we can now pay 5.6 million for the new trader. The traders are looking at the opportunity for them to be able to pay between 2 to 3 million naira in a 5-year, you know, payment plan, so that they can be able to trade easily. Because the essence is this, that if people cannot pay this money, they have only one choice. Either they don't go to the site, look for alternative options of where they can trade or do their businesses, or take their businesses home. Because most of them do not business through contact, through phone calls. to be able to meet to these people. And the essence, we will not talk about the location or the choice of where we are going to, where we are going to. But, you know, there are challenges of the location, challenges of maybe transportation, and we know what happened with Ugo Onyama. That road has not yet been done. And a lot of maybe the tricycles, the keke, the minibuses, so the traffic that will be going through that road will be massive. And we know that there are a lot of challenges with the roads, and the road has not been done. So if people move in the next 6 months or 1 year, and the traffic of human beings towards that particular point, how will you be able to protect? Will there be speed breakers along the road to reduce the speed of drivers? So there are a lot of things we think that needs to go into this. Yes, we want a review, but I'm just saying that the 4 million I think the chairman is talking about was not really agreed with the whole traders. The trader never had a meeting to that. Maybe he thinks it's the fair enough price.
All right.
For him to be able to do
you've
that.
clarified issues then, because there's a letter that was signed by Chief Michael Nome, the president, asking for a review of the price for a single shop to 4 million naira, a double shop to 8 million naira, payment period of 1 year. Are you saying that this letter, this recent letter, let me get the exact date, I'll get the exact date of it. Are you saying that it's actually this price of 4 million was not agreed to by the traders?
It was just done by the executive. Maybe
So
they held a meeting. There had never been a meeting where the traders sat down and agreed at that price. That's the truth. No meeting was held. And let me try to, the chairman is the central chairman. If you come to that market, let me give an insight into it. There are a lot of smaller unions. There are zonal chairmen. There are, if you go to Kano Street, Taylor Street, Broadricks, most of inside they have small chairmen, so they always have their meeting. But he's the central chairman, he's overall chairman. So this was a decision taken by them because the real traders want to move. Let's get it clear. They want to leave that particular place. They want to move. In terms of the infrastructure of that place is already a place. Even the environmental hazards in that place is massive. So they really want to move, but they want to move at a rate where they can be able to move quietly into and do their trading and do their business and remain competitive and be able to support government in terms of what government wants to do. So yes, the idea is fantastic, it's good, but there was not a time that we said, okay, we can be able to pay, because the issue is this. And just like, we're talking about these same letters, and I think I've seen where government said they should pay 50,000 registration fee. I was like, is that not much for some of the traders to pay? For them to register, they need to pay 50,000 naira to register. If it's 5,000 or 10,000, it could be. That's why we are appealing. We're not saying we're not forcing government to do this. We are appealing. We are begging them.
Okay, now
that, like the father of the state, the governor, please just reduce this cost for these traders. We want to remain competitive.
Let's also now look at what the government is offering at the new site.
Yeah.
The government is offering an ultra-modern facility, according to them, of course, that will have a lot of facilities that traders will be able to use. Healthcare will be assured as well. We have shops that are not like what we are seeing at CoCamp. So many facilities that are rated ultra-modern to serve the needs of the average trader and the customer as well, to create a more civilized and sustainable environment. So don't you think that that justifies some kind of higher price? I mean, also considering that 400,000 naira was already discounted for traders at CoCamp specifically, whereas others have to grapple with 6 million.
The point is that the cheapest price is 5.6 million.
Yes.
And it's expected that it is small scale hold traders that can be able to pay that. Between me and you, honestly, most of them cannot pay. That is the sincere truth. Government is providing, is a long-term project. I feel that what the government is trying to do is to secure the future of the state in trade and investment. So if it is a long-term project for the state, it's not about profits. The state government is not doing this to make profit, if I may understand, because government is not in the business of making profit. So the essence is for them to provide a framework, a place where traders can commonly come and trade. In the next 20, 25, 30, 40, probably 50 or 100 years, there will be no need for them to move out. So it's commendable that government is providing those amenities to be able to leverage the productivity of these traders. So I don't think the government is asking them to pay this money to make profit. That's why we're looking at probably that if there could be a review of in terms of what the traders can come, because if you're taking 3,000 to 4,000 traders into that place, they need to be the ones that need to own the shops. Because an investor is coming there to make a whole lot of profit. So it's not that does not mean that there are few people who cannot pay their money. But there are those who are 3, 4, 5, or 6 in one single shops, and they are struggling, seriously struggling to be able to compete one or two people can be able to pay. Because the idea is that when they came for verification, what the traders were actually told was that it is for them to know those who are actually trading, who will get shop at the new site. Now that the news has come out at the cost, everybody is going back. People are reluctant. People are saying that this cost was never agreed. And even the 4 million, a lot of them cannot be able to pay that. You could be able to do another vox pop and ask people, can they be able to pay independently? Because the issue is that a lot of people are feeling that what else do they do if they cannot pay? And that would distort, the connectivity in the spare parts market, because a lot of people will be scattered in different places to say, since we can't trade in Kokam, can we stay in Ababa? Can we stay in Emene? Can we stay in other places to be able to do the same kind of trading, which is not good, business-wise. So we're looking at for government for a downward review. It's not, we're not saying we don't like it. This is fantastic. This is beautiful. We've been looking for this opportunity for a very long time, but let government look at some of these things and do a downward review. And I'm sure that the governor listens. And I encourage government to encourage union leaders to engage more with the traders.
Have you brought your complaints before the president? Telling him that you all were not consulted?
Of course, most of the zonal chairmen, even in most of the places, we've met them and asked them that there was no time we held any meeting to agree at this cost. They said the central chairman said he has met the governor, that he's going to meet with them, and when he meets with them, we pass the vision to them, they were going to pass to us. But we've not held any meeting, because if they held any meeting, they can provide the minutes of the meeting, where we agree that this 4 million naira and 1 year payment plan. Because the issue is not about agreeing to the 1 year payment plan. They may be default, and when they default, what's going to happen?
Then that means that obviously beyond the price being reviewed, the letter to NCIDA also has to be reviewed as well.
Of course, we are appealing. It's an appeal.
Oji, go ahead.
Apparently, what I make to understand here is, just making decisions at the top without consulting, the real traders, and also concerns about investors coming to, owning these shops to now exploit, these traders. And I think that'd be something that needs to be looked into. If the traders, the real traders who are meant to own these shops, are saying that these prices are exorbitant, I think it's time for the internal process to be done. Have that meeting, fix the meeting with these real traders. I'm talking about the government of COCAM, the spare parts and all that, to really ascertain what price is viable for us to pay. Then they take it up to the government.
Still in line with that, can you now specify the exact reason for the discounted price for real traders? Because many people would ask, especially those who may want to move to the new site and be asked to pay 6 million, why are these people being given 5.6 instead of 6 million? Because the news in the media out there is 6 million, but we understand that for COCAM it's 5.6, so why?
Yeah, what happened was that there was an appeal, a letter of appeal. That was the letter the central chairman wrote, which was that 4 million that he wrote for them to be able to, which was the decision they took in the executive, to ask for 4 million and a 1 year payment plan. I think the government's reaction to that was that, let us give you 5.6 million. That was actually what led to that 5.6. So you see that the government actually listened the letter, to be bringing it down from that 6 million to 5.6, which is basically for those single shops. Nobody's talking about the double shops or the warehouses, because those who need warehouses probably are the big men, those who are importers, who do the bigger businesses. But the small little traders, I just want the single shops where they can be able to put in some of their wares and be able to just trade. A lot of them don't have goods up to 200,000 or 100,000, or those who are artisans. How much they have for them to be able to say they're going to go and pay 5.6 million under 6 months. So the essence is for that the government wants them to move. And the essence is to provide incentives for businesses to come. Because if I'm a trader, maybe in Anambra or in Ebonyi, and I'm looking at Enugu, I'm looking at the cost of coming to trade in Enugu, I'm looking at the volume of trading I can do. So if I look at the shops, look at probably the price I want to pay, and look at the level of productivity I can bring into the system, of course, I can decide to leave Anambra or leave Ebonyi or leave Abia to come and trade, because it's competitiveness, it's peer review within the Southeast. You're trying to look at what can we probably do. So the government should look at from that angle to be able to attract investors. There are a cost you're going to bring that make at somebody who is in another state to say, okay, I'm moving to this place. And, construction is about to begin. The traders are even not yet seeing a lot of, a lot of work going around that place for now. So I think the government should be able to, listen to this appeal and be able to engage more, encourage me to engage more, or even engage more with the traders. And I think we'll be fine with it.
This new facility is supposed to have clinics, fire service, truck parks, warehouses, and ample parking spaces as well. I'm sure all those are in the works. But now you have clarified a lot of things, which I would like to put in perspective for everyone to understand. The first thing is that the traders feel that they were not carried along when the 4 million negotiation was, implemented in that letter and sent to the NCDA boss, who has now decided to give a 400,000 naira discount from 6 to 5.6. But the traders are still not happy because even the fact that 4 million was put there was never agreed on. So now, if the NCDA boss did not even consider bringing it down to 4 million, what are the odds then that less than 4 million would be agreed on if he did not even meet you have described the independent decision of the president on this matter?
Yes, maybe not only him, but maybe his executive, because I'm not really blaming him, because I'm sure that all of them in the executive saw those letters and they agreed to it before we were able to send it out. So I'm not going to blame only him, but the executive, everybody that he's made, because I don't think that he only wrote a letter in his house and brought, he showed it to them, which I'm very, very sure, 100% sure, and they agreed to send it out. I think that that's what we are appealing to the governor. The person that signed the executive order for us to move is the state executive governor of Enugu State, who we know that he's pro-business oriented, who we know that somebody that wants productivity to start. So if he's going to look at it and say, okay, these are what the state can be able to offer, he's building roads in Enugu, he's doing a lot of things in Enugu. And a lot of people feel that the traders who should be able to aid productivity should be able to encourage, in any little way for us to come. So we are not giving up that the government is going to listen to us. We don't think it's too stubborn to say, okay, it's fine. No, we believe that if he hears this appeal, he's going to do something about it. And trust me, I'll be glad to come back here to tell you that I told you so, that the government is going to listen to us. And we are hopeful he's going to listen to us.
Thank you so much, Ezra Chimoba, for sharing your views on today's program and making this appeal. The general appeal is that the price be reviewed even beyond the 5.6 million naira that is supposed to be, to make it lower. Yes, for everybody to be able to afford it. Those who are owing people are even concerned that they will owe more, maybe owe their lives at some point as a result of the current price. So 4 million is not the view of the entirety of the traders at the market. They are saying that they want something less.
Like 2 to 3.
Like 2 or 3, you said.
2 or 3, 2 million, 3 million. And at least a 5-year payment plan.
Are you guys also considering the economic challenges too in building of those facilities right there?
That's why we're looking at government. Government has a budget. Government has a budget for them to implement. It's not a 1-year plan. It's a business plan for 20 to 30 years. The government intends to grow the economy to 30 billion. And I'm not sure it's going to do that under 1 year. So definitely, if you'll be able to encourage productivity, these traders, they have the potential to be able to grow this state. And the best thing you can do is to encourage them to be able to put their talent to work, their creativity to work, to be able to get the state to that level. That's what we're
Thank you so much. I think the economic hardship is hitting both sides, hiking prices on one side and affecting traders on the other. So let's see what the response of the state government would be. The traders are calling for one thing, and that is a price reduction. They're also calling for more engagement with them by the leadership, the executives of the union. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, while we go on this quick break, I would like us to take a look at this video of a businesswoman, a boutique owner in Anambra State, who accused officials of NAFDAC of raiding her boutique and looting her items. In an emotional moment, she made these accusations. Let's take a look at that video.
Oh, NAFDAC has looted my shop. 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 See my shop.
In a follow-up interview with Afia TV correspondent Victor Uwe yesterday, the director of National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC Southeast Zone, Martins Iluyomade, refuted claims made by the businesswoman in the video. Let's take a look at his response.
React to the comment. I'll call it a comical comment that is going around on the social media that NAFDAC entered somebody's store and stole. From what I can see in that video, the person is selling clothes. Now that doesn't deal on clothes. We don't regulate clothes. There's nothing we want to do with clothes. So I find it quite hilarious that that kind of skit, well, I call it skit, that kind of skit will go around and viral. To me, it's smart of ignorance, and it's a comical show. I can see. We deal with drugs, we deal with medicines, we don't deal with clothes and fashion designs or whatever the person is selling. So it's just to debunk that video should be discontinued. It's skit, nothing more than that.
All right, and there you have it. NAFDAC Zonal Director has responded to that video, debunking it, calling it a mischievous attempt at, of course, degrading the agency. What do you think about that, Oji?
Yeah, it could be mischievous, and then I'm looking at, from my perspective, some people, all these dubious task force people come in and probably come with a tag, NAFDAC, ICPC, EFCC, just to loot people, and these are criminals now. So I'm looking at it from that vantage that maybe these are some organized criminals who just came into our shop and probably told her that they're from NAFDAC, and
we don't even know for a fact her side of the story. Because at this point it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
We have to hear from her. We have to hear if she even saw them or if she came and she was told, whether it's hearsay. Afia TV is on this story. Our correspondent there will definitely follow up with her and find out her account of things, and if she has anything to hold on to as to why she will so boldly say that NAFDAC looted her shop. We'll go on a quick break now. When the morning show returns, we join in the commemoration of World Social Work Day with special guests. Do stay.
The energy is good. We can build a new friendship.
Chess with Fabulous here. I am sweet, but don't try me still.
Okay, now don't disgrace me.
I avoided one person. She does owe me an apology.
Have you ever Googled I didn't Google it. Like I said, girl, I read. You should read often.
Time check, it's 2 p.m. and it's time for us to vibe, chill, and relax. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV. So Lunch Break is all about the music, it's all about fun, it's all about entertainment, it's all about entertaining gossip and stories from social, it's all about the latest trends, it's about what's lit, it's all about the games with our guests, and yes, in general, I like to say it's all about the vibe and vibes only.
Welcome to Afia TV, your go-to channel for excellent news and incredible shows that keeps you IEI, that is, informed, entertained, and inspired. Need a break?
Ladies and germs, welcome to Lunch Break on Afia TV.
Join Choco to vibe and chill on Lunch Break at 2 p.m. for the latest trends in music and entertainment.
Not like I have the money.
Dive into the world of innovation and creativity with Rochelle on Anka. It means art in English, where creative minds and groundbreaking ideas come to life. Tune in every weekday at 8 p.m. Do not miss Afia TV Official, your perfect dose of laughter, where they discuss what is currently trending on social media every day at 5:30 p.m. on Afia TV.
But in this economy, the savings will save you, man.
And that's not all. Stay tuned for more exciting shows on Afia TV. Catch us on DSTV channel 254 and GoTV channel 17.
Welcome back to the Afia Morning Show, and thank you for staying with us. I mean, we're slowly winding down this power-packed show But right before that, we must also, well, bring to the fore that today is World Social Work Day. And the theme is strengthening intergenerational solidarity for enduring well-being. And to, of course, commemorate this big day, which is going to promote, just doing things, acts of service, not just waiting all the time for ego. Just do things because you have to do it, because it's right, because you have to help one another, because you have to be your brother's keeper. Of course, to tell us more about this, we're joined now in the studio by Mr. Mbina Ita, who is a Chartered Institute of Social Workers of Nigeria rep, Enugu State Chapter, as well as, of course, Reverend Uchechukwu Ama, Chairman, Chartered Institute of Social Work Practitioners of Nigeria, Enugu State Chapter. Thank you so much for joining the show.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you both on. And a happy Social Work Day to you.
Thank you.
So let's begin with you, Reverend. Just paint a picture of the essence of today's celebration, why it should be held dear by our good Nigerians.
Actually, it's a global event, and all over the world today, people are looking at the need for us to remember the social workers and remember the people that should be reached by the social workers, trying to find a way to make people that the social work is not just something you do anyhow. It's a profession, and we want to create the awareness of the professionalism of the social work and the commitment that the government and the stakeholders have towards promoting the social welfare of the people. So all over the world today, United Nations and other agencies are involved in making sure that we understand the role of social work in our communities.
All right. So would you like to add to that, Mr. Ita?
Yes, and given to the fact that the system or the society we find ourselves is shifting, generations come in, generations goes out. There is need to bridge that gap. Hence, the theme of this year's Social Work International Day.
Yes. All right, Oji?
Okay, talking about social work, right? Apparently, in Nigeria, let's have a focus right here in Nigeria, right? And people tend not to indulge or involve themselves in some type of social work, by the way. So can you, give us an overview of literally what this social work entails for people who apparently might be thinking, okay, what are they talking about right now? Is it the same thing I know or what's not?
Yeah, you rightly said that people don't really know what the profession is all about. They don't even know it as a profession, but they see a kind of humanitarian services. Is it part of social work? And where does social work start? Where does it end? And how do people assess the services of the professionals? So, yeah, at a very primitive concept, you look at helping people as being social work. But there are policies and principles that guide this profession. And it is these policies and principles that many people don't really understand. And that's our mission. And that's the purpose of today, to give to throw more light on it.
Yeah.
And I know my colleague is here, and he's going to say something about these policies and principles that guide the social work.
Okay, you can go ahead.
Yes, to make our service delivery more professional, the CISON is well positioned. Although relatively new, we had records of our presence before 2022, where we had a deal that gave us that legal backing to practice social work in Nigeria. We are legally positioned to guide, to ensure that practitioners follow the ethical standards of practice as far as the profession is concerned. And throughout Nigeria, we have presence, even in places like Sokoto, where we have registered locations where those who are interested can also come, not just to receive services, but also to be trained as professional social workers.
All right, let's come back to you now, Reverend. What constitutes social work? I want us to really get a grip of this.
Yeah.
Because there's the social work department in university, of course. You see people that are studying social work. What are they studying? What is social work?
Yeah, when you talk about social work, you're talking about, in a simple layman's understanding, a kind of social welfare package that the government has to reach out to the welfare of the people. Sometimes, like our team says, well-being of the people. And part of this well-being cuts across different areas. Let us take health. For example, there are things that are fundamental rights of the people, good health. And if you look at the standard of our health institutions today, too many people do not care about what is being delivered there. But the social work profession says, look, there are standards, there are things, there are ways that you need to treat people. You know, so social work is actually trying to bridge the gap between the service agencies who are supposed to help the society and the policy of the government on what level of service that should be rendered. And so social work as a profession is like saying we are here, we're a kind of watchdog to make sure we meet to these standards of service delivery to the people. The government should be able to understand that the O is a right of the people to have these services. So when you talk about what are these services, let me take, for example, the psychiatric hospitals. Now, a lot of people have this mental problem, and you see them walking on the roads, and they don't know who their relations are anymore. They're under drug addiction or anything, and it has to take the social worker to pick them up from wherever they are and bring them to the right place where they should be. The social worker contacts the family and says, look, we have your the ward here, and we would like you to come. We picked him up from that place. So this man is a helpless member of the society, and the social worker takes it upon himself as a responsibility to bring him to the right place to be treated. So when he gets there, the doctors take care of the mental illness, and he has to be reintegrated to the society. All that process is the work of the social worker to make sure that a victim of any of the social ills is handled very well.
It could even be abuse,
yes,
I guess. But now we're looking at something that looks like a dream. This is something I want to see happen. We watch it happen all the time in foreign climes. How effective would you say social work is in Nigeria?
Yeah, it has been on, like my colleague said. We have been here for a long time. The problem is that the government, by recognizing it, by the National Assembly putting an act and recognizing the profession, it is our responsibility now to let both the government and the people know that we are ready to implement the policies of government, the welfare package of the government. They are all there, but nobody implements it. Just like have a society where you have the police, nobody recognizes the police, but the police force is there to implement the decisions of the government.
I'm identifying a challenge because I'm hearing it in between the lines of what you're saying. There is an institute of social workers existing in Nigeria and of course in Enugu State. But the challenge is, whereas there's an institute, implementation through that institute appears not to be recognized. It's not being done. Mr. Ita, can you speak to this?
Yes, exactly. And I want to buttress this point. I want to borrow a leaf from what is happening in our healthcare institutions. If you go to most of the either federal or state healthcare institutions, you will see that we have a department where we have social workers there. But then, it is sad to say that the role of a social worker in this institution oftentimes have been relegated to the background only in areas where you need to gather resources or to get resources or funding for indigent patients. But our services goes beyond that expounded boundaries to ensuring that the reasons why patients or clients comes to that institution in the first place, clients are not further exposed to these problems. We have bar clients or patients from the problems that makes them to come to this healthcare institution. So it's not just to look for resources to help them pay their bills in the hospital. We help rehabilitate them and also censor the environment, given to the fact that after the treatment, they'll be discharged back to their various houses. I want to give us another instance. A situation where a lady, a woman comes to the hospital with bruises. And based on investigation, we noticed that, okay, fine, this woman was battered by the husband. And the healthcare institution would just be interested in treating
her, yes.
But what happens after the treatment? This woman will still go back to that house to meet the same man. So what happens thereafter? It now depends on the social worker to censor the environment, to make sure the environment is conducive enough for the clients to go back and continue in his or her expectation.
And also, you see, people like, for example, had an accident and nobody knows where that person is. I had some fracture or problem. The social worker picks that person, comes to the hospital, begin to look for his friends and family members. And a lot of bills are left out there unpaid to the hospital. If you go to orthopedic hospital, the story is the same thing. In the psychiatric hospital, and so many of these people in the social work department find it very difficult to raise support. So what we are trying to do now is to say, government or to people, humanitarian justice, listen, there are people that are suffering in these hospitals. They have nobody to pay their bills, but the government, the hospitals have to treat them on moral grounds. But then the bills have to be paid. The things that have to do with this pharmacy and all that, they have to be paid. So this is where the problem is. But what we are planning to do as a chapter in Enugu State, like you talk about implementation, we will be hosting an international conference. It comes out once every year. And this year, 2025, later in November, all the social workers in Nigeria, throughout Nigeria and internationally, they'll be coming to Enugu. And we are going to host. So we want to start now sensitizing people, sensitizing our government, sensitizing humanitarian agencies and other social work interest groups.
To come. All right, we're already out of time. Thank you so much for joining the show today. And of course, your views have been heard. We hope for more integration of the institute in Enugu State, which of course you represent. And I hope you have the best success in your upcoming event. Thank you for joining
and if they want to contact us, we can also be contacted.
Yes, we'll definitely get your number through me. Okay, you can contact them through me. If you need their contact, reach out to me and I'll do that. I've been your host as always on today's edition of the Afia Morning Show, Nathalie Oku.
And I remain Oji Nwachukwu. Have a splendid day. Bye for now.
Good evening to you, viewer, and welcome to Women in Business, a show that profiles women, executives, and even the next door store owners, showcasing Igbo greatness to the world.
I started always obsessed with books ever since I was a child.
The stress